So this program, I don't know how to describe it. But I've been working on this program for quite a while now. I've run it with some undergraduates. All right. It's all boys. It's all boys up here. All men up here. Strictly, what it makes to become, every single thing that a man is. So there are different modules we're going to be looking at from who is a male child. It sounds very obvious who a male child is, to who a godly male child is, who a godly husband is, and every other issue that has to do with, a male child. Of recent, I'm quite passionate about the male child for some reason. I just kind of figure out that if you solve the men's problem, almost 90% of the world's problem is solved. On the first two human beings that came into this world, it was the woman that was deceived. It was not the man. The man knew what he was doing when he beat or he ate out of that fruit they were not supposed to eat. So we're going to be looking at different concepts that has to do with men's and their struggles. It's tough being a man. I'll say that again. It's tough really being a man. There's so many responsibilities you have to shoulder. There's so many burdens you have to carry. As you become older, as you grow much more matured, after a while, you want to leave your parents' house. Even if they tell you, we've just built a big mansion for you, you can stay there. Anything that has to do with your parents' house, you would want to leave it and want to find your own place of your own, because that is part of being a man. Do you understand what I mean? You want to find your own place of your own. You want to start making a living for yourself. You don't want somebody dashing you money. All right? There's a difference between money that you earned and you worked hard for and money somebody gave you. There's nothing wrong with people giving you out money. But what will make you feel like a man is not you collecting money from people. It's you being able to work hard for yourself and make a living for yourself. And many other decisions that has to do with, being a man. So we're going to go on a very, 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 is it boat cruise or super jet cruise in the whole concept of a male child. I would like to start by first acknowledging the founder of the school for giving me this opportunity. I spoke to her on Monday. I said I would like to do a program for the guys. They should give me a time slot on a Saturday. And here we are today. So please, can we just celebrate Mr. and Mrs. Allah in their absence. Also, thanks Mr. Makondo. I'm grateful to my dad. I always say in class, my dad and I never played football, never played board game, never played Ludo, whatever it is. My dad was strictly in my life to make sure that I have food on my table, I have clothes on my body, and I go to the best school he can afford. All right, my dad spent his life earnings to send me to the UK to do my master's degree. So I'm forever grateful to him. There are many other experiences I wish I had with my dad, but for what he has given me, I'm grateful. I want to be better. I have a son somewhere at the back. Today he turns 5. It's his 50-year-old today. All right. Grandeur is 5. I also came here. I came here with the bone of my bones and the flesh of my flesh. My wife is also at the back there. Please just... part of what it means to be a man is to make the right decision on who will become your life partner. All right? It wasn't by my doing. It's not anything I said that impressed her or made her say yes. I believe it was all God, because my wife showed me Pepe when I was trying to get her attention. All right, but I'm grateful to God now that, she's forever stuck with me, no going anywhere else. All right, thank you very much, babe, for coming. I had to convince her to come here. She don't want to come. Without much further ado, let's bow our heads, please. I'd just like to say a short prayer to my Creator. Father, I'm grateful for this opportunity to have conversations with my fellow brothers right here in this building. We ask, O Lord, that you shall speak to us and cause our ears to hear what you want us to say. Open our eyes to see what you want us to see. Let this moment we spend together be a productive and effective time. For in Jesus Christ's name we prayed. Amen. All right, so the male child, mentorship and discipleship class. One of the biggest thing that can happen to you as a guy is to have a mentor. All right, don't play down on that fact. You're not going to have conversations with your parents on every subject that's to do with your life. After a while, you would like to take some conversation outside the house or family. It's not every single thing. You can't be 100% vulnerable to your father or your mother. So you need a safe place, another place you can be open and tell them, these are my fears, these are my struggles, these are my secret struggles, or these are my addiction. How do I deal with it? Because it's not every struggles that you go through that you really want to have that struggle. Circumstances has put you in a situation or a position where you have to face what you're facing and you have to deal with it. But because you don't want your parents to be extra worried, you don't want to give them extra burden. The burden of trying to make a living is enough, all right, on their shoulders. They should deal with that. Your own personal struggles and issues, you want to take it somewhere else. And that's where the place of a mentor comes in. Any man that does not have a mentor is a dangerous guy, just a time bomb waiting to explode. So it's always good to have a mentor. A mentor puts you in the right direction. They present a different perception to whatever struggles you have in life. And then they put you in the right path such that you make little mistakes. Every single thing we're doing is just, walking like we're blindfolded. We're not truly sure the career we're pursuing is going to make us extremely successful, or it's going to be that career that will make us blow. All right, so we're trying every single thing we can based on our information and our knowledge. But mentors have gone farther than us. So they have to be people that are older. So they can tell you, I've been there, son, I've been there, brother. All right, this is how you should go about this situation. I remember when I was about to make that decision, to have that conversation, then she was my colleague. We used to work together in an organization. All right, so I spoke to my mentor. I said, look, I'm the leader in this organization, and this person I'm about to talk to is a team member. I don't want to start talking to her and telling her my feelings for her, and then she start disrespecting my leadership. I'm careful about that. So he advised me, told me what to do, how to go about it, and all that. And because of that candid advice, and I took that candid advice, throughout the courtship or the relationship or the dating, never for once did my wife to be disrespect me. And that's why I'll forever be in love with her. Never for once did she look down on me, even though I will call her out for coming late for meetings. I'll call her out for not carrying her job. But at the same time, after the meeting is over, I'm like, babe, I like you. Never for once did she try to disrespect me. I'm being very honest and vulnerable with you here. And that's the place of a what? Of a mentor. So we're going to look at a few concepts. First of all, quickly, somebody time me, who has a wristwatch there? Please, I don't want to crop into your football time. Once it's 3:50. Once it's 3:50, let me know. So I end before 4 o'clock. All right, so if you want to look at the concepts or all concepts of the male species, we have to go back to the beginning. All right, there's only one beginning for everyone who's a believer, who's a Christian. And that beginning is found in the book of Genesis chapter 1. Then God said, let us make human beings in our image and likeness, and let them rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky. Let them rule over the tame animals, over all the earth, and over all the small crawling animals on the earth. This verse 27 is where I want to go to. So God created human beings in his image. In the image of God, he created them. He created them male and what? Female. All right, very important, male and female. All right, so we're going to look at what's a male. Who's a male child? The biological definition. All right, sex assigned at birth. We're looking at that concept. Legal definition of a male child. Psychological definition. And then the spiritual definition of a male child. Biologically, many of you do biology already. There are 2 chromosomes, which are what? All right, so we all know what that means. The most common straightforward definition, based on observable physical and genetic characteristics, is a child with 1 X and 1 Y chromosome. That's a male child. Reproductive anatomy, a child born with external male genitalia. Every male child has a penis. Is that simple? All right, I'll keep it real. You cannot say you don't have a penis, but you feel like a man. Something is wrong with you. So the whole idea of this LGBTQI, whatever it is, should not even be at all. It is that obvious. A obvious woman can't say she's a man. How? How are you a man? All right, so we look at that concept even much more based on the X and Y chromosomes. The X chromosomes is larger, carries more genes. The Y chromosome is smaller, determines male sex characteristics. The presence of these Y chromosomes is what gives you that manly future. No matter how you feel as a woman, you don't have that. And no matter how girly you want to be as a guy, you will forever be a guy. Even if you want to be a woman, sit like a woman, apply lipstick, braid your hair, wear earrings, there's a popular guy we know in Nigeria who is trying to be like a woman. No matter what you do, all right, no matter how you feel, that presence, the presence of these Y chromosomes automatically makes you a male child. So it's not based on feeling, it's not subjective. It is what it is. The X and Y chromosomes determine our biological sex also. The X chromosomes, more genes plays a crucial role in both male and females. The Y chromosome, much smaller, is vital for male development. The X chromosomes carry genes that are essential for normal development and function, such as sex determination and genes. I'm just going to rush. Quickly, the X chromosome is a large chromosome containing about 155 million base pairs, which represents approximately 5% of the total DNA in a cell. This is not biological, so I'm just rushing. The Y chromosome is much smaller than the X chromosomes, containing about 58 million base pairs, representing approximately 2% of total DNA in a cell. Have two chromosomes, which are what? X and X, period. All right, and the male have X and Y. Again, the presence of the Y chromosomes is what distincts you as a male child. It's coming up. It's what causes the manliness that we have. The Y chromosome, specifically the SRY gene, called sex determining region, triggers the development of male characteristics. Every guy has something a bit uniquely different from every lady, even as you grow older. All right, the guy's body, the bones are a bit stronger than the female. You don't need anybody to tell you. Even if your bone is a bit soft as a guy, compared to an average lady, your bone will be stronger. But there are also anomalies. All right, there are girls that look like tomboys, or there are guys that look much more feminine. Nonetheless, if you go into the internal organs, if you have XY, you are a guy, period. And if you're confused whether it's not sure, the Y is not looking like Y, it's looking like an extended line that makes it look like an X. If you have a penis, you're a guy. You cannot have a penis and say you're a girl. It is funny how a male child that is born a guy or a boy grows up and later wants to become a woman. How did we get to this place? How did you get here? Nigerians turning, trying to, change the, gender. How did we get here? Who planted that thought? Who planted that seed? So, do you know the interesting thing? Sometimes this thing starts like a joke. Somebody just start joking and start playing. Start carrying a handbag. And before you know it, something just goes off. And the person continues like that in that trend. I don't want to divert or, go into another different conversation. But we already know what, the biological definition of a male child is all about. So God created them male and female. God made man XY, fall into deep sleep, and took a rib from the side of the man to create a woman XX. It's that simple. All right, I'm still laying foundation on this concept of a male child. So this is it. A man and a woman come together based on the gene genotype. If it's 2X, it's a girl. X and Y is a guy. Period. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. This explains also the concept using the X and Y chromosomes. Even though a man comes out from a woman, all right, that doesn't mean the man is a woman. It's only rational for excess woman to come from XY man. It's only rational that it has to be from a man that a woman will come out from. If it's from a woman, I mean, what I'm trying to say, if the first human being that was created was a woman, that means she's going to have XX. It is impossible. Where are you going to get Y from? So it only makes sense for God to take X from a man and double it to make a woman. It just makes rational sense. Do you get what I'm saying? It couldn't have been from a woman to a man. So this is how you begin to connect scriptures to the origin of our creation as a male child. But from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. Legal definition, psychological definition, and social definition. A male child is a person who is recognized as male by the government. This is determined by sex assigned at birth, legal documentation, a person's sex maker on a birth certificate, driver's license, passport, and all that. So once you are born, automatically, even before you are born, most parents go to the radiologist and they check the gender of the child. Sometimes the parents, because they want to do gender review. Do you know what gender review is? They want to surprise themselves. They will have somebody else get the results. All right, that person will know the results. Then they will go buy some balloon. If it's a guy, it will be blue. If it's a girl, it will be what? To surprise themselves. But you can already tell, even before the child is born. All right, the radiologist knows how to scan and then see the gender of the child. Interestingly, in most hospitals, foreign hospitals now, it is said that you cannot assign a gender to the child. What the doctor will tell the parents, let us wait for this child to grow and let the child decide what gender the child wants to be. This is real. They will not allow you to put he or she. That's how, the world have gone so backward to that extent. And then the child is left to be confused. How do you allow a child begin to decide? It is obvious there are so many signs to decide the gender of the child. But that's the world we live in now. And for some of you who are interested to japa, to live outside the country, these are some of the things you have to deal with. There's no way you'll be able to argue with your son if he comes back to say, Dad, stop calling me Michael anymore. My name is Michelle. I'm Michelle from today. Oh, no. I'm not referring to any Michael yet. It's real. And you can't do anything because the government will take your child away from you. Not only that, they'll take your child away from you and deport you. Yes, they'll ask your child in school, is your father or your mother stressing your life? Are they trying to tell you that you are not a girl? They will ask the child questions. And if they give them any clue to the fact that you are trying to tell them, oh, come on, Michael, you're a child, you're a boy. They will call you for a counseling session. And next thing you know, they will take the child away from you. I'm saying some of you would like to japa. Some of you, how many of you would like to live abroad in America? That's what I'm saying. This is what you might have to deal with. Psychological, please, let's consider psychological and social perspective. Why? Now, this is where the issue started from. All right, the psychological, the gender identity emerged during childhood. Gender identity, a male child is one who identifies as a boy. They introduced this part. This is where the confusion started. How you feel, what you think. Whatever your mind is telling you is what you should believe. But that's not, true. It doesn't matter what your mind is telling you. Sometimes your mind plays, tricks on you. You can't go by your feelings all the time. Sometimes you are thinking about something that is not true, that is not real. Your mind is very brilliant and very wild. Your mind can imagine the craziest thing possible. So you can't subject real life decision to to your imagination. You can't subject that. Your mind should be controlled by who you know you are. You should subject your mind to certain principles that are fundamental, regardless what the society is saying or how you feel. Socialization. From a young age, children are often socialized into gender roles. This is what I'm saying. That boys should not play with dolls. They should not wear pink clothes. So they give them guns, cars, race cars or whatever. Give them other colors apart from pink. So this is some of the arguments the people on the other side try to use to say, this is why this guy is thinking he's a guy. It's because social conformity. You've always projected manly things before him. Therefore, without his choice, involuntarily, he's thinking he's a guy. They allow him to truly feel what he feels, even if he feels something wrong. All right, so this is where it comes from, psychological and social perspective. And they will argue it's very right. Now, the final part, which is one of the most fundamental parts. A male child is a symbol of potential and promise, the embodiment of the developing divine masculine, a spiritual responsibility and a test, the inner child and purity. In the Bible, the birth of a male child here, Isaac to Abraham, Samuel to Anna, John the Baptist to Zechariah, is often a direct answer to prayer and a sign of God's covenant and future blessing. The child is the vessel through which a divine promise will be fulfilled. There's much more to you as a male child. You are a promise that is becoming. In fact, traditionally, outside scriptures, most family would not be comfortable if they don't have a male child. There's some tribes that will be a bit comfortable until they've given birth to a son. Because they believe that the son will carry on the name of the what? Of the family. A lady will get married to somebody else, and by default, she would take the name of her what? Her husband. So she will continue in her husband's name. So there's much more to you being a male child. You are the pride of a nation. It is not to say the female child is less. I'm just trying to differentiate the distinctive, unique difference between a male child and a female child. It is very awkward for a guy to get married and change his name to the female, to the lady he's marrying. It's very rare. It doesn't really happen. So the lady takes on the name of her husband. My wife was called Chiamaka Ndububa. That's her father's name. But as soon as we got married, it changed to Chiamaka Olatunji. She took on my name. All right, so that's what I mean by continuity. Every male child is a work in progress. The playful assertiveness of a boy must be guided into the courageous action of a man. There's much more to a male child than video games and toys. There's much more to a male child than race cars and living in a fast lane. All right, there's something about you, your energy, your aggressiveness. All right, every single thing that makes you up, it must be guarded in such a way that you become every single thing you are supposed to be as a man. So you can't look at yourself as though, you are just some child of your parents. You really do not have any, thing to do on the world apart from what your parents want you to do. The identity of who you are, you must begin to, think about it and be conscious of it from now. You must be conscious of the fact that you are becoming. Your parents are only providing resources for you to be able to get to where you should be fast, as quick as possible. They can wear shorts, but you will not see them in ripped jeans. You will not see them tie bandana. There's nothing wrong with that. Or do-rags. You will not see them wear a face cap and turn the face backwards. There's a consciousness in this boy's mind that makes them feel we're different from others. Others are commoners. We are royalty. Now, why is it important for them? Because they sit on a throne that their family has subdued other nations. Their job is to ensure that other nations remain subject to the throne. You and I keep speaking English. That's their job. You and I must make sure English is our official language. That's their job. Their job is to make sure we stay loyal to the throne. We don't abolish the throne. So they must present themselves to the highest standard. They must look like a kind of guy you want to be like. So they subject themselves to extra discipline because of the consciousness of who they are becoming. My great is in my blood, in my DNA. My family line are kings, queens. Others are commoners. They serve us. They work for us. We enjoy based on their tax they pay. They live to fund our lifestyle. But that doesn't mean we should misbehave. We must continue to present ourselves as the most gentle man in the world. That's why most of the time you see them wearing corporates, a shirt and a short or a trouser, a suit, walking not anyhow. You can't see them just running in public, waving to the public in the most calm way. No struggle. Every single thing is almost like AI printed out. Human being. Almost like a robot. Because there's a consciousness of what they are becoming. Now, when we begin to understand this consciousness, you will see yourself differently. There are certain languages you will not use again. There are certain conversations you will not engage in again. You will not subject yourself to certain things because you will say to yourself, it is not for kings to talk like this. It is not for kings to behave like this. They cannot be caught misbehaving in school. Those children, they can't. They can't be caught. They can't be caught involved in any form of bullying in school. No. They must present the most well-behaved form of a human being at every place they are. They talk with such calmness, such poise, in a very refined way. Why? There's a consciousness of what? Who they are becoming. And do you know the funny thing? Interestingly, you and I are what? We are royal priesthood. Our father is a king. Do you believe that? You and I are kings. You and I are priests. You and I are royalty. Because spiritually, that's our identity. So if we can understand royalty in the earthly sense, the Buckingham Palace family, the royal family, we should also understand it in its spiritual sense. Because that's what everybody is. Okay, thank you very much. I'll wrap up here. Now that's Prince Williams. That's his wife, the Duchess of Cambridge, Catherine, Prince George, Princess Charlotte. Now look at them. Are these people normal? When it's recent, they are very normal like you and I. Listen, there's something about their mindsets that makes them say to themselves, we are superior than everybody else. There's something about the way, the environment. Look at how she's standing. Her courage, her persona. If I was to bring them to this hall to have a conversation with you, I can almost bet you $1 billion if either Prince George was the one to come or Prince Louis, if they come to sit down, they would never sit down like this. Never. Don't worry. It's not about how you sit down, it's your mindset. Something will tell them that I'm the most classy man in the room. Yeah. Something will tell them I'm the most gentleman in the room. There's a way they carry themselves. All because of their environment and their identity. I want to leave you with this picture. I want you to picture this in your mind. So that next time you misbehave, know that that is not a king. It is not of a king to behave like that, to talk like that. You are a king in the making. Through you, families, organizations, nations will be birthed. Imagine you become a president. You determine what policy they put, as they sign into law. You begin to determine people's life and destiny. That's what they do. So they must present the best form of a human being. Even if inside of them they're screaming to just play video games and lick lollipop randomly. They will not do that. It's an identity. I want this identity to begin to sink into your mind from today. There's a way you must be. It's not just about the dressing. It's beyond the dressing. It's a mindset. It's not your father's bank account. It's a mindset. There's a mindset. Take them away from the Buckingham Palace. As long as they know their father is what? Their father is who? Prince Williams. Take them from Buckingham Palace, put them in an African village. They will still act out as a king. Walk like a king. Even if there's no light in that village and they start living there. Because this is who they are. It has nothing to do with economic status, financial status. Interestingly, it has nothing to do with your grades. There's an interesting story. There's a series called The Crown. I'll wrap up with this story. It's 3:49. How many of you know The Crown? It's a series. It's quite interesting. It's about the Buckingham, the royal family. All right. So The Crown depicts the life of Queen Elizabeth, her husband, and every single thing that's happened. It's not truly every single thing in it that is exactly the way it happened, but it's just a picture of what life is like in Buckingham Palace. So there was one time, the First Lady of America was to visit Buckingham Palace. All right, John F. Kennedy's wife. I can't remember her name. Her name is in my mind. She was to visit Buckingham Palace. The Queen Elizabeth that passed, she was a bit nervous because she knows that the First Lady's wife, the First Lady of America, she's multilingual. She knows more than one language. She can speak French, she can speak English, she can speak other languages. She's educated. She has studied, she has, done a lot of degrees. I don't know how many master's degree or so. I'm not very sure. So I don't want to, say facts that are not factual. But she was comparing the lady's pedigree, her qualifications to her own. So she started feeling a bit intimidated. She said she can only speak English. She doesn't know much more languages. And she just have like maybe a degree, and something like that. How will she match with this woman who has accomplished all these things? And they said something that I will never forget in my life. The lady who was talking to her said, "Man, you don't have to worry about all that. You're a queen. You don't need to know too much. You just need to know government policy. Your job is to sit down on the throne and just be a queen. Everybody will come and bow to you, regardless their degree, their qualification, their accomplishments." There is something about royalty that puts you in a different pedestal than any other thing else. And that is what your maker, my maker, has put us on. So you don't choose the family you come from biologically. My dad is not very wealthy. Your parents might not be Dangote or Elon Musk. Regardless of your parents' economic status, you should not identify yourself based on their economic status. Your identity must come only from your being, who you are, period. It should not be associated with, I have 3 cars, therefore I'm a big boy. Until you meet somebody that has not just 3 cars, he has 3 private jets. Then all of a sudden you start feeling like what? A small ant. And if you say I have 3 private jets, I'm the biggest boy. Until you meet somebody else again that owns private jet companies with fleets of private jets, then you start feeling what? Less of yourself. Oh, I have a beautiful house. Oh, have you seen my room? There's a plasma TV just right there at the white throne in the toilet. And when you come out, there's a projector that comes from the ceiling. And inside my room, beside my bed, there's an aquarium. There's life shark swimming in my room. Until you go to somebody else's house, and then you are almost like in a city. So if you attach your identity to anything material, anything tangible, you will always struggle with self-esteem issue because it only depends on your environment. You just need to switch your environment to another place where their levels are way. What you are proud of, what you share testimony about. Oh, we just made $1 billion. That's what somebody else is burning every day. Somebody is playing with that money, that you are proud that you've made that money. So your identity, your self-worth or self-esteem cannot be attached on things. And lastly, before we close, it can't also be attached on your grades. Because everybody is born intelligent. Beyond A's, B's, C's, D's, E, F. There's much more to you than your grades. Does that mean you should be lazy? And say, oh, I'm a king. Mr. Timi told us that we're kings. So Mr. Timothy, don't worry about these grades. I'm a king. That's not what I'm saying. All right, I'm saying don't let your self-worth identity fluctuate based on your experiences in life. Because you know you're a king, you work hard, you won't be lazy. Because you know you're a king, you subject yourself to the utmost self-discipline. Because you know you're a king, you make sure that when it comes to moral standard, there is no flaw. You are doing the best to present yourself like the king that you know you are. Not to impress anybody. So we'll stop here today. I really wish I can get a manual, how they train these children. I want to know how they speak to them. What makes them behave the way they behave? What makes them subject themselves? Even as a child, they behave matured like a man. Is it just beyond the identity that royalty? Or is there something we can learn from the fact that just that identity is making them subject themselves to the utmost behavior or best behavior? Any question? We'll stop here today. Any question concerning the identity of a male child? If there are no questions, I want you to just close our eyes. I want us to close with a prayer. Many of us have been damaged. The conversation this afternoon has been based on identity. My environment has damaged me. The way I grew up has damaged me. My environment, my friends have told me things that are not true. Lord, remind me who I am in you. Restore that identity back. Do a factory reset on my identity. I don't want to look down on myself anymore. I don't want to attach my self-worth to things. I don't want to attach my self-worth to material things. I don't want to feel like a big boy because my parents want 2 SUVs. I want my identity to be secured in you. And knowing fully well that I'm a promise that is unfolding. Knowing fully well that I am becoming. I do not look like what I am created to be, but I'm becoming. I'm in the process. Once upon a time, I was in crèche. Now I'm in senior secondary school, junior secondary school. I will leave here and move on to another higher level of education. I am becoming every single year. Lord, give me that secured identity in you, that no matter what life throws at me, I'll present myself in the utmost, most civil, most responsible way possible. It will change the way I speak. It will change my attitude, my behavior. I won't talk anyhow because it's not of kings to speak trash and dirt. I won't listen to all sort of songs because kings do not listen to dirty songs, perverse songs. I won't watch all kind of things because it's not of kings to do that. I will shoulder the responsibility put on me. I will carry the burden of what it means to be a male child. My parents trust me so much, they sent me to be independent. They sent me to boarding school to figure out life by myself. I will carry out this responsibility with almost sense of dignity. I will make sure that I'm a better example to my colleagues, to my friends, to my classmates. When they see me, they will see a guy they want to be like.